Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We'll give everybody a little bit of time to keep trickling in. All right. Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I am an education program coordinator at the Science Center, and today we are going to be doing an activity called Paper Mountains, where we're exploring how water interacts with the land and how pollution might affect those kinds of things. So for our activity today, you're going to need some paper. I have notebook paper, which will work just fine. If you have white copy paper, that is okay too. Any kind of paper like that should work. And then you're also going to need some washable markers. If you have a couple different colors, that's great. If you only have one, that's also fine. But yeah, you're definitely going to want some washable markers. You're going to want a tray of some sort. So I have a baking sheet here, just because this one can get a little bit messy. You're going to want some water. If you have like a squeeze bottle or a dropper, that is great. I don't, so I kind of made my own squeeze bottle out of this bottle of water. So that'll work. And then we're gonna need some pollutants. So if you have spices like cinnamon, or I have some instant coffee, or black pepper, something like that, those will work great. And you might also want a spoon for doing those. All right, so I'll give you a little bit of time to get all of the materials ready if you don't have them all ready, and I'm gonna let Peter tell you a little bit about how to use Zoom. All right, thanks, Peter. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first step here is we're going to make our paper mountains. So everybody take a piece of paper and you're gonna crumple it up. All right, and then we're gonna slowly uncrumple it just a little bit, because you wanna still kind of be able to see something that might look like mountains. You wanna have maybe some peaks and some valleys. So you're gonna have some high points and some low points in your paper. And then we wanna really highlight those high points. And so that's where our markers come in. So you can use all one color, or you can use a couple of different colors. You're gonna find those ridges, those high points on your paper, and you're gonna color them. And don't be afraid to use a lot of color on these. All right, so you're just gonna color right along those ridges. I'm gonna use a couple different colors today, just for fun. All right, I think I'm gonna use 3 colors on mine. Finish coloring all my ridges here. All right, so now this is what my mountain range looks like, right? So I've got 3 big main ridges that I've colored. And now we're gonna see what happens when it rains on our mountain range. So what do you think is gonna happen to these colors that are at the tops of our mountain ridges if we add some water?
Oh, I see Kaysen and Camden have their hand up.
Yeah, I think some of the color will dissolve.
You think some of the color might dissolve? All right, well, let's give it a try. So I'm gonna tell
I think we might have another guess as well before we do it.
All right, awesome.
Antonia, do you have an idea?
Mama, I have some hearts on it and some flowers.
Nice.
Ah, yeah, you put some hearts and designs on yours. That's awesome. All right, so now if you have some water, you're going to make it rain on your mountain. and we're gonna see what happens to those colors. All right. So what is happening? Did all the colors stay up where it was? Did it dissolve? Did it disappear?
Ellery has her hand up.
Yeah, Ellery, what did you see?
Think I see that it went down like a waterfall.
Oh, it went down like a waterfall. That's pretty cool. Now, did anyone try using different colors, using multiple colors on your same mountains? I see some nodding. So if you used multiple colors, what happened when the water ran off with those colors? Did it stay separate colors or did they mix? Looks like mine got some mixing. So I've got some blue over here and then some green from my blue and my green combined, or my blue and my yellow combined to make some green water down here. I've got kind of like a little lake down here where all the water is pooling. And then I've got a little orange lake over here where my yellow and my red combined. So what this kind of shows us is what would happen if it rains, right? Where all the water, we can kind of trace the path that the water might take. Are there places on your mountains where it's still dry? I'm seeing some nods. Yes, I've got a couple places over here where even when I made it rain all over my ridges, a couple places stayed dry. So some of the water is not traveling in that direction. Did anybody else see that too?
Got some thumbs up.
I see lots of nods. So that's awesome. So since the water can come, from all over our mountains and end up in one spot, that can cause some trouble if there is any pollution anywhere on our mountains. Now, how many of you have heard the term pollution? Seeing some nods, seeing some hands raised. Awesome. Sounds like most people have heard of pollution. Is pollution good or bad? See some hands up. Let's.
Ellery, what do you think? Is it good or bad?
I think it's bad.
Yeah, pollution is generally bad. Right. So it's when we have substances, chemicals, or objects that are not really supposed to be in the environment that end up in the environment due to human activities.
Jason and Camden, I have a couple other hands up. I don't know if you have something you want to add. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Kason and Camden.
I think pollution is bad because, I've heard of stories that some people, because some people sometimes put plastic bottles, and sometimes fish try to eat them, and a lot of fish die because of it.
Yeah, so plastic is it. Oh, did you want to talk too?
I think Luba and Tonya also have something to add. I don't know if it's about plastic bottles or not. Do you want to unmute yourself? There you go.
This happened.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so yours. Oh, yep. So I can see your colors.
Look on the other side.
It went down on the other side.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So now we're gonna simulate. So we're gonna kind of do a model, a test of what pollution might look like in our mountain range. So if you have cinnamon or pepper, or I have some instant coffee, that is going to be our pollutant. All right, so I want you to pick a spot on your mountain range, and we're gonna put just a little bit of your pollutant there. So I'm gonna put some right at the top of this little ridge right here. Just a little bit. You don't wanna use too much because your parents might actually want to use that cinnamon or black pepper to cook and make tasty food. So we don't wanna use too much, but we'll put just a little bit. All right, now if we put it at the top of a ridge, what do we think is gonna happen versus if we put it somewhere toward the bottom? Any ideas? All right, so you might want to, for this part, you might want to keep your mountains over your tray so that you're not going to be spilling your pollutants everywhere, your cinnamon or your pepper or your coffee. All right, so if we have our pollutants on here now, we're going to add some water again, and I want you to pay attention and see where those pollutants end up. Now, do they stay where you put them?
Oh, Luba and Tonya, do you want to tell us where your pollutants went? Go ahead and unmute yourself. There you
They
go.
went down.
They went down. Now, do you have any waterways, any little lakes or pools that you have that don't have pollutants now? Or do they all have pollutants?
No, yeah.
Kason and Camden, do you have some ideas on where your pollutants went?
Mama, me.
They went all over.
So it sounds like they went all over for you guys. They ended up everywhere. That's kind of what I saw too.
This water, and there's like a pepper, and it's like a rock. It's like a little rock.
Oh, it's like little rocks, right? And did the water carry it? All right, would you like to talk as well? Let's see. Anybody else want to share what happened to their pollutants?
Yep, I think Liam has his hand up.
All right.
Go ahead. It went all over the whole tire paper and it fell off.
It went all over the whole paper and then spilled off. Yeah, that's kind of what happened to mine too. So I don't know if you can see, but I used coffee, which made things brown. And so I ended up with brown pretty much in all of my water. So now all of my water is brown. Is that kind of what you guys saw too? Yeah, I'm seeing lots of nods.
Jacob and Jerome, is that a hand up? Do you have something you want to add?
What do you want to say, buddy?
There's a lot of water. This is basically like the ocean, and this is a mountain, and then it just went in the ocean.
This is
So it
the
looks
mountain
like
and the ocean.
cinnamon all over the place.
So you ended up with cinnamon all over your ocean, even though you just put it in one place on the mountain, huh?
Yeah, and the stuff just went down. The rain just went down there.
Yeah, so
I don't even know how to do this because
We have a lot of hands up, so I'm gonna ask some folks to share what they want to comment on. Oliver, do you have a comment?
My water.
Say mine went everywhere too.
Mine has there too.
oh, yours went everywhere too. Yeah, that's what I saw as well. Anybody else have an observation?
Vivian, what did you see? You'll need to unmute yourself, Vivian. We can come back to you. Ellery, how about you? What did you see?
I feel like I added brown. I added brown, and then I colored with my blue thing, and then the brown like combined, and then it was blue, and I made a little lake.
Ah, so you ended up with the blue from the markers and the brown from your pollutants in the same place.
Cool. How about you, Elizabeth? What did you see?
Mine went everywhere.
Yours went everywhere. Yeah, so that's That's one of the issues with pollution, right? Is that even if you put it only in one spot, like I only put it in one little spot on my mountain, and then somehow it ended up in all of my waterways. So it the rain washed it down and then it spread out through all of the water. And so that's why pollution can be a really big problem, because even if it only starts out in one little spot, it can end up being everywhere.
Luba and Tanya, did you want to add something to that as well? Did you see the same thing?
I saw that the river carried it.
The river carried it. So yeah, when you made a river from the rain, then that carried your stuff all the way down. That's kind of what I saw too. Yeah. Let's see it.
Oh, Arlo, do you want to share something? Is that a hand?
My mom gave me some different materials.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried some paper and it stayed a little wrinkled and then went flat. But then I tried a coffee thing that my dad uses for making coffee.
Ooh, what happened?
And then my
to
mom flattened it out. I put it in the water. And then it just went flat when I put it in.
So the paper was able to kind of hold its shape and make like a mountain range a little bit, but the coffee filter didn't work so well.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And that's an interesting point, to try it with some other materials. So if you are enjoying this experiment and you want to keep experimenting some more, you can definitely try it with some other materials too. And then maybe you can take some pictures or comment on our Facebook page to let us know what happened. Like I think some people have tried it with cardboard before, and with wax paper or aluminum foil. So if you want to try it with one of those things, or if you have another idea, we'd love to see what happens. Now I have one other type of pollution that I was going to try here today, and I might actually, let's see, do you guys want to do a whole nother mountain range, or do you want to work on the same one? What do we think? You want to make another mountain range?
Seeing some thumbs up from Liam.
Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. All right, so let's do it. If you have another piece of paper, you're going to go ahead and crumple it all up again. And then very carefully open it up somewhat. Remember, we don't want to open it and flatten it all the way, because then we'll lose those mountains. I'm going to move this one to the floor. There we go. Now I've got this one here. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to use maybe just 2 colors this time. And I'm going to color along my ridges again. All right, maybe I'll add some blue as well for some of these other ridges here. All right. I think I've got my next mountain range here ready to go. All right, now I'm going to start with the water again. We'll have our rainstorm again, just like we did. And now we'll see how those colors might change, might move down our mountain. Alrighty. All right. I might actually turn mine around. I think it's more interesting from this side here so you guys can see that. All right, now I want to talk just a little bit about another type of pollution. And so for this one, I have some juice, right? And so this is a type of pollution that might be if it in the air everywhere, and then could end up in clouds and then in the rain that comes down. So I have some red juice here that I'm gonna add to my mountain range. And what do we think is gonna happen when I add red juice? Do you think that pollution is gonna go everywhere, or do you think it's just gonna stay in one spot?
I think I see folks mouthing the word everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah, I kind of think so too. I kind of think if I end up using this red juice, it's gonna go everywhere and there won't be anywhere that doesn't have red on it. And then what do you think is gonna happen if that red mixes with the colors that are already on the page? Do you think it's gonna be just red? Or do you think it might also change colors with some of the other stuff that's on our paper? Someone said it's gonna mix. Well, let's find out. So I've got my red juice here that I'm gonna add to my mountains. This would be a very polluted rain.
Dwyer, do you have something you want to add? I saw you unmuted yourself. Nope. Okay.
All right, now my mountain range here is ending up with all sorts of colors because I had some red rain and then I had some blue and some yellow pollutants on my mountain. And so I ended up with some green where the yellow and the blue mixed. I ended up with some purple where the red and the blue mixed. And then I ended up with some orange where the red and the yellow mixed. And then where they all mixed together, what color do you think that was? Where I got all the colors mixed together. Has anyone ever tried that? Tried mixing all the colors all together? Yeah, I saw somebody typed it in the chat. You get brown. And so that's mostly what I have in my water. I've got a whole bunch of brown. Even though I didn't even start off with any brown, I started off with all nice colors. I ended up with a whole bunch of brown in my water because everything mixed together. And they all ran off into my ocean. So. All right, does anybody else want to show off what their mountain range looks like?
I think Liam, do you want to show us what you made? Go ahead and unmute yourself and you can hold up your...
How do we do that?
Ooh, I like that.
It got water and leave it.
Uh-oh, did you eat your pollutant? Oh no, that's maybe not a great idea. Anybody else have a mountain range they want to show us?
Well, if you decide you want to show us a mountain range later, whether it's on one you made during this activity or one you try out later with some different materials, you can post some photos on our Facebook page so we can all take a look at what you made.
Yeah, I would love to see all of the cool ideas that you guys are coming up with. If you're trying new pollutants or trying new materials, I see somebody's holding up a new pollutant they were going to try. I think that's an awesome idea, and I'd love to see how that turned out. All right, well, that is it for this activity today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you had fun, and I hope you keep exploring. Ooh,
That looks cool.
yeah.
On Monday, you can join us again. We have some brand new activities. We're going to be doing more Science Center yoga, and we're going to be doing space poses. So it should be really cool and a different activity, and we hope to see you there.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy Earth Week.